Hi, guys. Welcome to a little bit of woo woo. I'm your host, Jill Thomas. It's been a week. I was traveling and I didn't want to advertise that in case somebody decided to come over and steal my stuff. Anyway, this video is being provided, as always, for entertainment purposes only. I am not a stock portfolio manager, a doctor, a lawyer. You really shouldn't listen to me. You should always use your own intuition, your own wisdom. You guys are smart. You really are. Like, you know stuff. You put stuff in the comments that I kind of go, wow, I didn't know it. I didn't know that was going on. So listen to yourself before me. However, let's have a little fun because I do know quite a few things and I've got some hits on what's going on that I wanted to talk about. First things first, I just booked the best guest I've ever had. And I'd had her once before, and you guys haven't seen that video, and there's a reason for it. Michelle Mache is going to be on. We're recording it on Friday, so we'll see. I'll try to air it that day. We'll see. But I had her on once before, and YouTube pulled that video because I asked a question that we're not allowed to ask. And I was super upset, you guys. I was heartbroken. But anyway, years later, I finally got her to come back. And so I'm not going to ask the question about the vaccine again. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully we'll get to keep this one. But she knows so much and she's very wise. And I'm really, really excited to have her. The other thing I want to tell you is go to Cash Peters' account right now, his YouTube channel. He's got a really short, cute little video on manifesting that I watched and I loved it. You guys, I'm not even going to try and explain it. You should watch. It's only like 5 minutes long. Amazing. I don't know this guy. I'm just a fan. I think you should watch the video. Okay. So I was wrong about the government being open last week. I really thought it would be happening by now, but sometimes we get it wrong. I do feel like it's this week. I would say, having said that, I thought it was last week too. So, take that for what it is. But I will say that I think it's imminent. I feel like Trump himself actually wants it open now. I feel like the SNAP benefits and also the air traffic controllers are really going to be putting a stop to this. I feel like it may even happen like imminent, like today. Could even be that you guys find out that it's been put back in place before I even get this video posted. Just, it's coming. It's coming, you guys. I'm just saying. Interestingly enough, though, I think people are starting to really ask the question, between WIC and SNAP benefits, why are 15% of Americans receiving these subsidies? People are starting to ask that question, and they're wanting to know, why is it that the top 3 employers in the country, Amazon, Walmart, and I think McDonald's is the third, have the highest percentage of their employees receiving SNAP benefits? People are asking this question. It's a good question to ask. And I think maybe this shutdown made us all look at those numbers and understand how many we're actually talking about here. I didn't know anybody who was receiving SNAP benefits, but it's something that people don't really talk about. But to find out that it's 15% between SNAP and WIC, that's a lot of people, you guys. We need to really wonder and ask the question, why is that happening? Why is it that that higher percentage of the population needs money to just eat, you guys? I think people are asking the question, and I'm excited to see that start to shift. The other thing I did get a hit on, you guys, about the air traffic controllers is that I do feel like in the future, if this happens again, they're going to make it so the air traffic controllers get taken out of this situation. So they're not the ones who have to lose out, that they'll get paid, is what I was getting. I do feel like that's going to happen. But not for this time, because they're seeing that the air traffic controllers and also the TSA agents, who, by the way, don't make as much as air traffic controllers do, are the ones who are going to be pushing to get things back. All of us wanted it, but that's where it affects everybody, because it's not that many people actually work for the government percentage of the population, right? Unless you live in DC. But most of us at some point have to fly, or we have to get cargo that comes from a plane. It affected everybody, you guys. It's sad, but I do feel like they may actually make it so that those people get paid no matter what, so they can't be used as a bargaining chip again. That's what I was seeing, okay? That's a little ways off, but I do see that happening. Epstein files and the royal family. Oh my God, you guys got so mad when I said Meghan, Duchess of Sussex name wrong. I'm not even going to say it because I'll probably say it again wrong. I had to clean up the comments on that. I had no idea you guys cared that much. Anyway, I'm saying what I was seeing with the Epstein files, and did come true, that the Epstein files was going to mess up the royal family quite a bit. Is the royal family done? No. England loves them. We all love them over here. They're not done, but we are going to be hearing more inquiries. I feel like the government, they're trying to take more and more away from creepy uncle, and in hopes that like people will stop looking at this. Okay, fine, we took all of his title. Okay, fine, he's no longer HRH. Okay, fine, he's no longer prince. He has to live in a basement in Sandringham, whatever it is. I'm sure the basement, by the way, is like huge, but they are not going to give up on this. They are going to want to look at his finances. They are going to be asking for that, and the royal family is going to push back because they want to talk about other things, not about what creepy Uncle Andrew did. But we are going to be seeing that. That is not going to go away for a while. Okay, you guys? The month of November is going to be interesting. I was looking at the energy of November. It is a lot of, it's a mixed bag. I'm just going to say it. It's a lot of change. I know you guys have been hearing in the news that Amazon did like their biggest layoff ever, some crazy number, like 30,000 people, and they blamed it on AI. That's not what it was, you guys. They spent a shit ton of money on AI for sure, and it has not produced revenue yet. And also, they had a really, really bad Amazon Prime Day. Just didn't get what they wanted out of it, and they laid off a bunch of middle management people. It just did basically what every other company would do. I don't know if you guys, I did actually look at their hiring numbers or their job numbers, but they had hired a lot during the pandemic, and they hadn't done these little incremental layoffs and letting go of people when their sales went down like other companies did. So they did end up doing it all at once. That's what happened there. But don't listen to the AI business. It's just, yeah, they did spend a lot of money building out Amazon Web Services, as the IT guys in the comments will point out. But that's not why. That's not why they laid them off. They had more people than they needed, and they looked at the middle management who was making $125,000 a year and thought, well, let's see, we can hire a whole bunch more drivers for the price of one of these middle management. Let's see if we can get rid of a few of them. That's what happened. As a consequence, though, I think if you live in the Seattle area, you might be able to get a better deal on a house. I'm not going to say now. I'm going to say a little bit later. Let it like fizzle out and play out a little bit. Talk to a real estate agent. It might be a good time to look at a price there. Now, having said that, I know I've talked about the housing market before. I wouldn't feel right if I didn't tell you guys, do 10 times as much research as you think you need when it comes to buying a house, because I do see some deals next year, like next year. The interest rates are going to go down. There's going to be a lot more inventory. That situation where there was a moratorium on evictions and foreclosures, that's just ended, you guys, and they need 90 days to start to clear some of those out. We're going to be starting to see more inventory on the books next, spring selling season. Do your own research, talk to a real estate agent. Maybe don't talk to a real estate agent, do some research, do some numbers research. And don't listen to somebody like me. Every market is different. But I'm seeing some people who are holding on to coin, who are in the better, I don't know, who have better credit, better credit, in a good position to get a good deal on a house. That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing that happening for next year. Okay. Oh, the Fed. I wanted to talk about the Fed, you guys, because Powell spoke on Wednesday, and you guys know I follow this stuff. I was also looking at Danielle DiMartino Booth, who is not someone like me. She actually uses real data. You can listen to her. But she was talking about how there's a scenario where Powell could stay on in May at the end of his term. And when I was listening to her talk about that, I got the intuitive hit that absolutely would happen if Trump was still around. And for one very good reason, spite. Those two hate each other with a very special kind of passion, and it is reflected in the actions that are taken. You guys saw 25 basis point cut. He had talked about doing 50 before the end of the year, and then at that meeting, he was like, don't count on that, you guys, don't count on that. And mortgage rates actually went up, which I thought was really funny. I mean, it's not funny if you're trying to get a mortgage, but it was funny when you're watching it. Anyway, you guys, I don't think it's going to go. I don't think he's going to lose another 25 basis points. But again, don't listen to me. Use your own wisdom on that. And it will have more to do with spite. He was talking a lot about the fact that government shutdown means that there's no data coming in. There's plenty of data. It just wasn't from the government. But yeah, I do see that happening. I do see Powell putting the brakes on lowering the interest rates before the end of the year. I do feel like they will shift momentum after the new year, and they will start to lower interest rates again after the new year. But for now, I wouldn't count on it. Let's put it that way, unless something happens and Trump leaves office. Now, having said that, Trump, I think, may be back from his trip. I do see him taking a break. I do see him taking a break. They're going to say it's like a little break. He just needs a break, but I think it's really he's not feeling well. I do feel like whatever treatments he's been receiving, medical, otherwise, he's going to be getting more of them during this little break. We may be seeing more advanced this week. Okay, you guys, and take that for what it is. But I do see him not being in the news as much this week. We may see some more of these toilet tweets, but he can do that from his apartment. Okay. I don't see him being hugely on the news this week. Having said that, I do also see, though, that we are going to be seeing for the whole month of November an escalation in that the attacks in Venezuela. People are really questioning what that's actually about. It's probably about oil, but I wasn't there. I will just say that we are going to be seeing that there's some things going on behind closed doors that they're not telling us about. They're going to be saying it's one thing, which seems a little like BS, and it's actually going to be something else. That is true for a lot of the things you're going to be seeing in the news the month of November. We're going to be hearing a lot of, it's routine, or we're just doing this because we need to, when it's actually about something entirely different. Speaking of things that are about something entirely different, I don't know if you guys can hear that. It's like raining cats and dogs over here, and there's also a soccer game next door, so you might hear somebody blowing a whistle. That's not magic. Anyway, speaking of things not being told, the East Wing. Now, I know a lot of you guys are super upset about that, and it was very sad. It was just a very dramatic thing. They did it, obviously, because they knew they could get away with it with nobody looking, with the government shutdown. I don't feel like it was just him that wanted that to happen. I do feel like they needed or wanted to update the structure that is underneath the East Wing, and they needed some cover for that. Oh, we're going to tear it down because we're going to put in a big, beautiful ballroom. Whatever. There was more to it than that. It wasn't just him. They knew, the people that wanted to update the structure underneath the East Wing knew that they could get Trump out there in front of the camera, make it sound like it's about the ballroom, and he would get all the heat for it. They just did it when nobody was looking, because you can't do anything about it now. He's already torn it down, right? Might as well let him build the big building. I don't see a ton of construction happening on the top right now. I do feel like the stuff underground, they're actually working on that pretty aggressively right now, trying to get as much done before they can put cameras on there. There's a little piece of it, though, that I think it might have to do with what happened with the Fed. I know that doesn't make a lot of logical sense, but it kind of does. It's hard to see it from the maps, but the East Wing is actually kind of right across from the Fed building. And Powell is spending an insane, like an obscene amount of money on some refurbishments of the Fed building, which were actually put into place before Powell actually became Fed chair. I do feel like Trump was a little bit of, hey, he gets to spend like $1.3 billion on this Fed building. Why can't I spend, measly $240 million on a ballroom? There's something in there. And there's also, I can hear him talking about how Obama got to put in a basketball court. There's that. I want something bigger. I want something better. Everybody else got something. I want something even better. There is an element of that. You guys don't need a psychic to tell you that's part of the thinking that's happening. Is it going to eventually become a ballroom? I do see something that looks a bit like a ballroom going up, but I'm not sure they'll use it for that. It may get repurposed. Because I don't know that they need one the size that he's put into place. And also, I feel like there was no plans. So an engineer is actually going to look at this and say, I don't think we can build what he wants to build on the ground that we've got here, the way that it is. It is also many, many, many years out. Okay, you guys, but there will be work happening. That's going to happen. But I'm not really seeing a ballroom, a building that kind of looks like a ballroom, but I'm not sure that's what it really is that ends up on that property quite some time away from this, you guys. It's a little ways off. Okay. Something else I was seeing for November. Now, obviously, November is Thanksgiving, and I hope you guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I really do. I'm super excited. I love that time of the year. I actually really like it because I like to watch the Nutcracker, you guys. We actually have tickets to go see a Nutcracker. I'm so excited. Uh, the ballet. Love watching that. Anyway, but in November, I do see some more foodborne illnesses showing up. I do see us hearing more about measles outbreaks. So let's just put it this way. What I was getting was if you hear about one measles outbreak, there's 10 of them. Okay, you guys, they're not going to be in the news as much as they're really happening. We're going to be hearing sort of private organizations talking about illnesses in the collective, but not necessarily from the official government information. That is what I'm seeing. I do see that there'll be a lot of chaos. There'll be a lot of that's not really what's going on, or stuff like that in the news. And also, again, with this foodborne illness, it does feel like I know that these happen all the time, you guys, but it does feel like there's maybe something to do with like bagged spinach or something that ends up being quite a large outbreak. I'm not sure how much of that we're going to be hearing in the news, but just be wise and double wash things you already received that were double washed. But I do see something like that happening that's kind of big, like several states involved. Yeah, it's kind of a big deal. And they're going to pretend that that's not really what happened. You guys already know what's going to happen. You don't need me to talk about that. The other thing I was seeing a lot of in November for some reason, and I'm not sure exactly how this plays out, I was seeing a lot of water. A lot of water. I'm seeing possibly even like a mild tsunami or just like a really big king tide, even on the Oregon coast. Now, that happens every year, you guys, but I feel like it's going to be really big and it's going to go in further than is expected in November. I also see some stuff on the East Coast as well. I know we just had a small hurricane. It does feel like there's something else coming as well. I do see some flights being disrupted. But that again, that always happens around November, but I see it as being more than normal. So if you have a plan to see grandma for Thanksgiving, I have an alternative plan. Like if you really want to see her, put gas in the car and think about what it would be if we wanted to drive there. I do see some weather events happening around the Thanksgiving time that are worse than is expected and worse than normal, you guys. So plan for some extra caution, I would just say, and that's always wise. The other thing I was seeing a bit of, I don't know if it's electrical or if it's just power outage or the electrical causes a power outage, but I do see some more widespread power outages this holiday season. Now, Thanksgiving, Christmas kind of go together. I was seeing more of that. Again, back to use your own caution there. Have some extra food in the garage. That's always a good idea. But I do see more of that than normal. And I don't know if it's like an ice storm on the East Coast takes out a lot of power. I don't know, but it is worse than just the usual, 100 customers here or there. So be cautious and have extra provisions and do what you need to do. You guys have been through this before. You know how to handle it. Keep pay attention to that. Okay, you guys. Okay. Oh, here we go. I really wanted to talk about okay, you guys know I can't give stock market advice, but I can say, watch your AI stocks, babysit your investments more so than normal. Now, November is notoriously a tricky time for investments anyway. I am going to be babysitting my investments. I would encourage you to do that as well, particularly your AI stock investments. I would also be paying a lot of attention to precious metals. I'm not saying you should sell them. I'm not saying you should buy them. I'm saying watch your exits and just know the number that you want to, if you see it at a certain number that you want to sell it at, pay attention to that and be happy with that. But I would say more babysitting of your investments in November than normal because it does feel like there's going to be some disruptions related to oil, and also I would be very cautious about any kind of crypto investment right now. I'm personally very cautious about the crypto investments. Now, some of you guys have made a shit ton of money on that. I'm so happy for you. You guys know more than I do on that. Watch your exits. That's all I'm saying. Watch your exits, okay? And I'm not saying that there's going to be a stock market crash. I'm not. not saying that. I'm just saying, watch your exits, okay, you guys. And for those of you that don't have investments, paying attention to what number you would like to see to maybe jump in. Like if Amazon's down at 20, which is not going to happen, but if Amazon gets down to 20, maybe that's the number where you buy in. I don't know. Feel it out. Look at it for yourself and decide where you want to jump in if you want to do that. This month, one thing I was seeing for a lot of people, you guys, is that problems that you've got right now, like the problem to think about the problem that's bugging you right now. For a lot of people in the month of November, it's just going to be gone. It's just something's going to happen, like an email or something, the car that was broken that wasn't working and suddenly going to start running again. Something is going to come and just take that problem away from you, and it's going to happen in a second. So for a lot of you guys watching this right now, you've got a situation going on that's keeping you up at night, and it's just going to resolve itself, and you'll be like, it's magic. And it will be. Just decide right now that that's what's going to happen, and know that it's going to be okay, guys, because November is going to be a tricky month. I did pull some cards. I looked at them first and I went, oh, I don't know if I want to tell you guys. Some of these are a little rough. But it's going to be tricky for a lot of you. November is a tricky time anyway, as a transition into the next holiday. And a lot of times we're having to deal with family. The other thing I would encourage you to do is keep an open mind too when it comes to politics. I know I get accused almost sometimes in the same video, like of being a libtard and a Trump toady, which I think is hilarious. I'm kind of in the middle, you guys. I agree with some of them and I agree with some of that. I'm very, very liberal when it comes to social issues, but I'm actually more conservative than you might realize when it comes to financial issues. I would encourage you at Grandma's Thanksgiving dinner this year, and I'll say it again later, closer to the end of the month, to just kind of be open to other people's ideas. You don't have to agree with them. And if they're saying something mean about gay people, well, okay, you can correct them on that, because I would correct Grandma on that one too. But I want you to just like listen with an open mind, because we really do need to be having conversations here about the direction. And I think a lot of people on both sides are very dissatisfied with what's happening, and they didn't like what they were sold. Okay. Didn't feel like things happened the way they wanted them to. I would encourage you to just figure out for yourself what you care about and not worry about if that particular issue has a D next to it or an R next to it. Okay, you guys? Feel out where you stand on certain issues and go with that. That would be my encouragement, because there will be a time when we'll be choosing more. Okay. Okay. So November. November. Okay. I love this card. This is a great card. Good things happening, but it's a mixed bag, right? Because some of the other cards have a little different idea here. Okay. So this is the 9 of Pentacles. Lots of good things happening, but also some rest time. This is the healer that got hurt. Oops. Got a little hurt. Needs to take a little break. I think we're all kind of feeling that way too. I think this will be after the government shutdown ends, which I think it's imminent. I really do. Ace of Swords, new ideas coming in, something new coming in quickly and just handling a situation. Knight of Swords is again, and something quick. It's the ready, fire, aim card. Something happening quick. And this is what I was telling you guys. I think for a lot of you, something is going to happen and turn the problem that you've got around really on the quick. Okay. New energy, young people. I want to say more protests, but I don't really feel like there will be as much of that this month. I feel like, yes, there's going to be protests, but it's starting to get colder. But young people are going to be starting to express themselves more about the things they really care about. And we'll be seeing this more on social media. There will be some heartbreak. Some of you guys didn't get what you wanted. Okay. And that's true for all of us. We're all going to be dealing with that. Some people, and this is probably having to do with the SNAP benefits and the WIC benefits, will be feeling left out in the cold. Okay, you guys? And like the world doesn't care about them. It's not true. We care about you guys. Things are going to get better, but just know that part of this is happening, okay, to a lot of people. Government and institutions. This is the very grounded card of, I kind of think of this card as make paintings and figure out how to sell them. You have ideas. You guys have ideas right now of things you want to do. Figure out how you're going to put them into place, okay? And this is about more work to be done. A lot of you guys will be doing more work on new projects the month of November, and I'm excited to see what you come up with, because I feel like you're going to be launching a lot of those projects in January and February. And the last thing I want to talk about, I'm going to say this wrong. I'm just going to say it wrong. Okay. There is a city in Canada. I watched this on the news. the city in Canada that decided they needed doctors and nurses. And so what they did was they started advertising in the US to try and poach American nurses and doctors. Now, they even sent a coffee cart to a hospital parking lot in Seattle with information on how to come to Canada and do this. It's Nananio, Canada. I will put a link. I'm not saying you guys should do this. I'm going to put a link in the description here to the website where you can check it out. I thought it was awesome. And one thing I will say, having tried to make a doctor's appointment in the US and been told that the next appointment available is in April of 2026, all I can say to Canada on this one is well played, you guys. Well played. Uh, I do think that if this becomes a widespread thing, we're going to be seeing the Trump administration try to put a stop to it and try and say you can't leave if you're a doctor or nurse. I'm not sure how they would do it, but I got to tell you, trying to poach our doctors and our nurses when we already have to wait so long, because Americans love to wait. It's our favorite thing to do, you guys. I gotta say it. They figured out how to get us back. I'm just gonna say, pretty good job. Okay, I love you guys. I'll see you again soon. For sure, you'll be seeing me on doing a video with Michelle. Hopefully by the end. Hopefully we'll post it the same day we do it. It depends on if I use the F word too many times, because she's not gonna do it. It's always gonna be me. Okay, I love you guys. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye. Bye.